There's this thing we all do, this instinctive urge to distance ourselves from parts of who we are. We look in the mirror and see flaws, insecurities, traits that don't quite fit the polished image we want to project. So, we disclaim them. "I'm not like that," we say. "That's not me." But here's the kicker. When you disclaim any part of it, you're not just pushing away that trait. You're actually pushing away a part of yourself. And that's a big deal. Think about it for a second. We all have those moments. Maybe it's anger that flares up when we don't want it to, or jealousy that creeps in when we see someone else thriving. We feel these things, and instead of acknowledging them, we try to shove them down. We think that by denying those feelings, we're somehow elevating ourselves, making ourselves better, more acceptable. But in reality, we're just cutting off pieces of our own identity, pieces that are crucial to understanding who we are as whole beings. Let's break this down. Our thoughts, beliefs, and actions are all interconnected. They shape our reality and ultimately define us. When we deny a part of our truth, we're living a lie, our own lie. It's like standing in the shade of a tree and insisting that the tree doesn't exist. You're still feeling the coolness, but you refuse to acknowledge the source. That's a disservice to yourself. It's a way of saying that you're not worthy of embracing the full spectrum of who you are. You might think, but I don't want to be associated with negativity or those undesirable traits. And I get that. None of us want to be labeled as flawed or broken. But here's the thing. Every single one of us has those darker corners, those less than perfect traits. They're part of the human experience, and when we own them, when we acknowledge them, we give ourselves the opportunity to grow. Ignoring them doesn't erase their existence, it just buries them deeper, and they will resurface eventually, often at the most inconvenient times. Imagine if we could flip the script. What if, instead of disowning our flaws, we embraced them? What if we said, yes, I can be jealous sometimes, but that's part of my journey, and it teaches me about my own desires? What if we acknowledged our anger, not as a weakness, but as a signal that something needs to change? When we own these parts of ourselves, we don't just become more authentic, we also become more resilient. We learn to navigate our emotions, to understand them, and ultimately to transform them into something constructive. It's a journey, and it's not always easy. Society often tells us to present a perfect image, to be the best version of ourselves, but that version is often a facade. Real growth happens in the messiness of life, in the acceptance of our imperfections. When we can accept that we are flawed but still worthy, we can start to heal. We can start to build a more authentic narrative around who we are. So the next time you feel the urge to disclaim a part of yourself, take a moment. Ask yourself why. What are you afraid of? What are you trying to hide? Because in that moment of reflection, you might just find the key to embracing your true self. You might discover that the very things you want to push away are the things that can lead you to a deeper understanding of who you are. And that's where real growth begins.